Hey guys, it's Kaz here, and today I'm going to be doing another video about disability and illness recommendations. I've done 3 in the past. I will leave a link to the playlist at the end of this video so you can check them out. The first 2 videos I did, I talked about 5 books in each of them. The 3rd video was also a recommendations for a readathon I was doing at the time, so it has a lot more books in it, but I don't really go into the books. And there were some crossovers from the 1st and 2nd one into the 3rd. But anyway, I'm going back to the original way of doing this, and I'm going to talk about 5 books. I have a list of other books already, so I'm definitely going to be doing some more of these in the future. But let's just jump straight in. And first of all, I'm going to go with Starvation by Molly Fennig, because I read this on my Kindle and I don't want to forget about talking about it. So this book is about a boy who has an eating disorder, and it's told in 2 timelines. So it's told now, he's trying to deal with it, he's trying to figure out how to get help, how to get better. It also talks about what happened a year previously, which goes into the hows and the whys. He started feeling like he had to control something in his life, and it turned out to be eating. So in the past, the year ago, his older brother, who was like the star, everyone loved him, he was the guy that was going to college, he was the guy that got the scholarship, he was the guy that was the best at the sports, and then he died in a car accident. And then because of that, our main character starts feeling like he needs to control certain things because he's out of control of his rest of his life. And then that's how the eating disorder starts. One of the things I really enjoyed about this book was that it wasn't a "and now they're cured" sort of book. There's a beginning, there's a middle, even though it kind of isn't at the beginning or the middle because it's told in alternate timelines. But there is no big conclusion of "and now we've completed eating disorder," because that's just not how it happens. If you have something like this, it's not something that just goes away, it's something you have to deal with for the rest of your life and try and make sure it doesn't come back or doesn't stay prevalent in your life. So I really like the fact that in here it doesn't just cure him at the end. So yes, that is the first book. Next up I have No Secrets by Penny Jolson. So this book is a YA, not necessarily a mystery or a thriller, but it has those elements in here because basically our main character Gemma has cerebral palsy, but she has quite a severe case of it. So she's in a wheelchair, she can't move, she also doesn't have any speech that she can do, and her carer's boyfriend admits to her that he murdered somebody. And then this whole story is her trying to figure out how to tell people, how to express herself, how to let others know that something bad has happened and she knows the reason behind it. But also it deals with family, and she's adopted, she has a few adopted siblings as well who also have different things about them. One of her adopted siblings is autistic, so that's another thing that's in here, like a representation. And it talks about her family, it talks a little bit about her past and where she came from, and then just Gemma in general. It's told from her point of view, and I really enjoy the fact that this book is told from her point of view. Yes, she can't vocalise things, yes, she can't necessarily express herself to the people around her, but because we're in her mind, we see that she's a human being, she's a person, she has thoughts and feelings and all of this. And a lot of the time when people have disabilities that are very severe and mean that they can't move or can't talk or can't express themselves, then people sort of forget to treat them like a human. And that is part of the reason why the guy told her that he was a murderer, because he's like, what's she gonna do? She's just in the chair, just haha, nothing. So I really like the fact that we're in her brain and we see her as a person and she's expressing herself. And yeah, it's a good book. Next up we have Wild Sky by Zaya Farley. I did talk about this in my wrap up very recently, but in here we follow 2 main characters and both of them have a disability / illness. The first one, Toran, was in a battle several years ago to do with dragons. His dragon was killed and also he was injured in the battle, so he has a limp, his leg always hurts, he has a lot of issues with that. There's also internalized ableism there because he doesn't want to use a cane, he doesn't want to show anybody that he needs something because he's a man and he can deal with it himself. And then on the flip side, we also have the other main character, Calais, and with his, it doesn't really go into specifics, but he has a condition and it makes him faint, it makes him just fall to the floor, and whether it's a few minutes or a few hours, he finally wakes up but is very tired and he has to lay down for ages and he can't really do much while that's happened. So he has this condition, which is great that both of the main characters have these things that are part of their story. Going past that though, this is about dragons, as you can tell. In the place that they live, there's a sky guard and a ground guard, and the sky guards have dragons and they ride about on them. And then other things are happening, like the wild dragons are attacking for the first time ever and they're trying to figure out what's going on there. And also the battle I mentioned previously was something that happened and there's still some fallout from. Some people in the sky guard went against them and then they battled and dragons died and people died, and then there's this thing like, are there still rebels there? Are there still people trying to get in here and do bad stuff? So there's a lot of other storylines other than these two main characters having disabilities. We're about halfway through. I've talked about 3, I've got 2 more left, so let's just head on over to a message from the spawnies and then I shall be back with the last 2. So next up I have Sound of Silence by Mia Carrick and Rayno Tierney. This one is about a main character who is mute. He's at school, he's doing his own thing, and these 2 new siblings arrive and they sort of start this friendship. First it's like enemies to friends, because first they don't really like each other and then they get together and then they have this road trip to try and figure out what happened in his past, because something happened in his past that made him into a mute. And he obviously has trauma, so this book is quite dark, just saying. And it's about these characters trying to find out what happened in his past and why he has all this trauma attached to speaking. And also those 2 characters, the brother and the sister, have their own things that they're dealing with as well. So like I said, there's a lot of dark things in here. The sister, the year previously, they was in a different country. They're really rich, this family is, and she was raped, so she's dealing with that a lot. That's how she becomes, well, not necessarily how she becomes friends, but that's how she first meets a main character that I should probably tell you the name of, but I'm really bad at it. Renzi, that's how she meets Renzi, because he's in this group. She goes to the group to talk about her feelings, but he's in the corner just drawing, and she's like, who's that weird dude over there? So she has this kind of bad opinion of him first. The brother comes in, he wants to like go against him. Why are you in this meeting thing? And then that's how they all find each other. And yeah, it's dark, but it's good. And then last but not least, I have Julia and the Shark by Kieran Millwood Hargreaves with illustrations by Tom DeFreston. And this one, first of all, it's absolutely gorgeous, it's absolutely stunning. I'll show you that in a second. But this is a middle grade book that can also be enjoyed by adults. Obviously I read it, I also learned some things about it. It's about a girl and a family that go to an island in Scotland. Which island is it? I can't remember. Shetlands? I don't think it was the Shetlands. Let me have a look. It is Shetland, yeah. So they go to the Shetland Islands because her father is working on a lighthouse there, so they're staying in the lighthouse, and her mother works in oceanology, so she's looking at all the creatures there. And first and foremost, obviously you can see that this book is about a shark, and I learned a lot about Greenland sharks in here. But this is a good way for kids and adults to read a story about mental illness. So the main character, Julia, her mum has bipolar disorder, and in this book things start changing with her, and then eventually she has some sort of episode, and it's about Julia experiencing that and seeing it and realizing, but also about the sharks and the island and about friendship. She has a friend in here, and it's just really good. The story is really good. The way it's written is really good. This whole experience of this book is really good because it has loads of illustrations in, like I said. So some pages it's like this with the writing. I also just love the aesthetic of yellow and grey together, so it works really well. And there are also several pages like this. So this is on acetate or tracing paper. So it's over this, but when you put it over here, it's over this. So it just adds a lot to the story. And it's really good. I very much enjoyed it and hope you will too. So there we have it. Those were my most recent disability and illness recommendations, also including starvation. And hopefully you found something in here that you haven't heard of or that sounds interesting. Let me know down below if you have. And if you haven't already checked out them other videos, then like I say, the playlist will be linked at the end of this video. So have a look there as well if you want. And like I said at the beginning, I do have more books already on a list. I have books that I know have certain things in them that I haven't read yet, so obviously I'll read them first and see if they're decent. So yeah, expect at least a few more of these videos in the future. And yeah, I mentioned saying some stuff down there. What's your favourite book with disability or illness rep? Do any of these sound interesting? Have you read any? Just say some words down below and I'll reply in it. That's what we're here for. And if this is your first video about me and you enjoy it, then please check out some of my others. And if you continue to enjoy, then please subscribe, that'd be awesome. Anyway guys, I'll see you in a few days with another video. Bye.